There are three constants: cold, work, and the moan. The first is an ever-present danger. The second is our best weapon to fight it. And the third is proof our weapon is working, that the tools we have built to preserve us from the ice and snow are keeping them at bay. The world we knew ended 10 years ago. The great frost descended, cold never relented. There are no more seasons, no more warmth. Things we took for granted in our old life, food, trees, comfort, are difficult to come by. It is a hard life, but it is the only one we have. We go forward, day after day, driven by the same words that spurred us on since we migrated north. The city must survive. Frostpunk, the award-winning video game from 11-Bit Studios, a tabletop role-playing game from Catalyst Game Labs, longtime publisher of Shadowrun and Battletech. This society-building game pushes players to consider what they will do to preserve fragile communities that they have built. Take a variety of roles from medic to engineer to hunter to explorer and more. See what you can do to build a society, confront crises, overcome dangers of the continued cold. The choices faced will not be easy, but they cannot be avoided. What will you prioritize? What you value? If you keep hopeful and reduce tent, you can build that lasts. But if things go poorly, people will let you know. You could find society around you, be exiled into the cold with no hope of return to warmth. Using the new Dice Core role-playing system, the Frostpunk role-playing game offers an easy-to-learn, fast-moving system that puts your character's decision at the center of any session, and allows you to try and build and maintain a city that somehow manages to hold people together. Back now for your chance to play an entirely new kind of RPG.
When threats emerge in the universe. When conquerors approach and the danger is high. When you have to face powerful rulers who want nothing less than complete control of the universe. Then you have to come together and work as a team. You have to dig deep, find your resolve, and your courage. You have to understand your enemies and how to stand against them. You have to be bold, decisive, and brave. And you have to be ready to be part of the universe's most legendary defender. Then, when the universe needs you, you can form Voltron, the greatest hope of the universe. Coming to a role-playing game made by Catalyst Game Labs, publisher of acclaimed games including Shadowrun and Cosmic Patrol. Catalyst brings an all-new rule system that emphasizes the teamwork at the heart of Voltron, and also allows for awesome displays of power from the universe's greatest defender. Whether you want to play in the original Defender of the Universe setting or the newer Legendary Defender series, a core book will be available for your preferences to help you explore a galaxy full of adventure. While the core game focuses on the paladins who join together to form Voltron, you can play as other characters such as nobles, cadets, or members of the Blade of Mamora, spinning out galaxy-spanning stories that encounter all manner of planets, creatures, and possible threats. The Dice Core system, used in Voltron, the role-playing game, is easy to learn and use while providing great depth of play. As you roll a pool of 3 dice determined by your skills and attributes, your decisions and circumstances can make those dice better or worse, so what you choose can have an instant impact. Back now and join the fight to defend the universe.
Hi everyone, welcome to Tuesday Newsday. I've got Jason Hardy with me, the RPG director for Catalyst. We are both going to be pretending we have energy. Con hangover even without drinking is real. Yeah. So, Jason, you're on a nice walk today. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's a school pickup time. So out of date to school, picking her up and doing our walk while she plays on the playground.
Awesome. Well, thanks
Hey,
for making the time and energy to be with us today because we want to talk Voltron.
yes, we do.
Yeah, we've been busy. We haven't been able to talk about it. So we're going to talk about Voltron. We're probably going to share stories from Gamehole Con. But in terms of news, since I just got back into town and I literally have not done any Catalyst work other than Gamehole Con since last Tuesday, Newsday. I know we have a backer update coming. Overlords in Training is released. Shadowrun Munchkin through Steve Jackson Games is released. Lots of excitement around there. Exciting thing happened at the directors meeting today. Shadowrun Munchkin officially went on sale on Wednesday of last week. They had ordered 7,500 copies and they're now placing their second order already.
Yeah, so it's being received really well already. Really excited for it.
That's so awesome. I'm so excited. Cool. So and then we have a new Shadowrun novella release that I saw came on the online store. Offbeat is a novella by Marie Belodow. Is that how you pronounce her name?
I'm not gonna verify pronunciation right now because I'd probably get it wrong.
Cool. So we'll go with my wrong one. And so you can check that out on the online store for store.catalystgamelabs.com. The Mercenaries paint set is up there in our partnership with Army Painter, as well as the Old Speed paint set, so you can get your painting stuff together. We have the BattleTech Force Manual Davian and BattleTech Universe, and Smooth Operations from Shadowrun is now live. So go check all of that out on our online store. And I think that's really all the news I have until I get caught up a little bit. So in the meantime, Jason, let's talk about Gamehole Con. This was your first one and my second. What did you think?
I thought it was really good. The thing that really stood out to me was how many people throughout the con, when I said like, yeah, I haven't been here before, were like, oh, this is the best. This is just the best con. This is the one I like to go to. And just emphasizing how much fun they had there. And there's for a smaller con, there were a lot of fairly heavy hitters in the RPG industry. So you got to interact with some of them more in a more casual way, but also just a lot of people who love RPGs. So you got to talk. And, you know, the sales pace isn't as frenetic. So we get to talk to people at the booth and have conversations and just a lot of really interesting, intelligent people to hang out with, which is not a bad thing.
Absolutely. It's interesting because since I started with Catalyst in March a year and a half ago, every single con I went to, people were like, well, are you going to Gamehole Con? And I was like, no, I've never been. And they're like, you need to go to Gamehole Con. And so last year was my walkthrough, and I was like, yeah, we should go to Gamehole Con since it's RPG focused, but also, yeah, it's where the industry goes to play. So some of the notables, I was really excited. Yesterday, we dumped booth teardown on John Helfers and Jason because Ed Greenwood sat down and wanted to learn to play Shadowrun. So we played with the creator of the Forgotten Realms. So getting to do that, getting to play, I got to meet Mike Whitwer, who is Sam Whitwer's brother, and he's a big RPG guy. I got to play in the end of a BattleTech grinder with a group that was playing with a demo agent down there. So I just joined in the last hour. That's all I had, and so I was like, hey, I'll be in Atlas, and there's a bounty on me. Take me out. So I'm going to be shipping the winner the 40th anniversary dice set. So that was fun. Ton of Shadowrun demos, and there's lots of special guests that you can interact with for cheap. So RJ was brought in, RJ Thomas, as a special guest, so you could play Shadowrun with the line developer of Shadowrun. So pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I met Steve Faker, the guy who created Eberron, and I think Eric Lang was hanging around there. It's done a lot of good games. So yeah,
Luke Gygax was there.
That's right.
So a ton of fun. It was an absolute blast, as it always is. True Dungeon is even there because they just love this con. And the other really cool thing we got to do was before the con even started, there was a dinner at the Free House pub that is owned by Alex Kammer, who's one of the owners of Gamehole Con. And the reason it all came to be is because they have a place that they call the Gamehole that's practically a D&D museum. So
it's impressive.
It's above the Free House pub, and you go up there and it's like original minted package, everything from first edition and advanced D&D, and like Ed Greenwood's printer papered original maps of the Forgotten Realm have like been preserved with like finger oils removed and is framed on the ceiling. It's a cool experience. So if you are into RPGs, you should absolutely go to Gamehole Con.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's enough time for shenanigans too.
Yeah.
Alongside the business.
Yeah.
We did a few shenanigans here and there.
Yeah, you're done. The vendor hall closes at 6, and then there's tons of industry parties where like the industry folk come to hang out. So like people just walk through and join in, and just really cool stuff. So
and you might get something like a table full of Shadowrun people in a trivia contest for Eberron and Forgotten Realms.
That was fun. So
we rocked it.
Yes,
we knew all our stuff.
We were invited to a trivia night, so I brought everyone from our booth, and then I learned that it was trivia on Eberron and Forgotten Realms with Keith and Ed, and we were like, I brought a bunch of Shadowrun people to a D&D event. So we filled out the first round. We filled out all of our answers with Shadowrun answers. And then we just did random answers for the second round. I think one of my favorites was, the question was something about like, what is the town of Hellish something or other? And we said Ohio.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. The realm of Hellish landscapes, or what, I don't know what it was, but it was fun.
We got a point for that one, I think.
Yeah, we giggled like hell. So it was a lot of fun. Oh, I remember who is the Lord of Shadow and Flame, and we said Lauren Coleman.
We might have said Lauren Coleman on that one.
Yeah, so it was a ton of fun, and it was great to teach some new players Shadowrun. We up at the booth we did neon lights and had really cool holo fans that showed off Shadowrun and Frostpunk and Voltron. And we had synth music playing and stuff like that. So we did real quick Shadowrun demos up there of like, hey, here's, the beginner box, and here's how you roll your dice and play. And then if you want to play in an actual demo, the demo agents are downstairs. But then we did Voltron and Frostpunk RPG demos too. And we got a lot of interest in Voltron.
Yeah. People were always seeing the display and the books and looking at it, perusing the rules, and then coming over for a demo.
Yeah. And the exciting people would giggle because they pick up the book cover, because we got mock-ups of just the book cover, and it's literally filled with blank pages.
That's right. So it's theater of the mind. You make the role-playing game you want in your heart, and we'll pretend we work to make it.
Awesome. So yeah, all of that was very fun, and is leading us up to this week. We are sending 2 people to VoltCon in Indianapolis to talk about the RPG and do demos and stuff like that. So all of this, we were going to launch Voltron on October 8th. What's been the holdup, Jason?
We are just waiting for the green light from the franchise people. They want to make sure they've dotted over everything, and while we were working to get approval on everything, we hit some unfortunate vacation timing, because that happens sometimes. So we are just waiting to hear back. As soon as they say go, we will go. Awesome.
And it's been doing really well. We've been running some ads both independently and in partnership with backer kits, so we're seeing a lot of interest and a lot of excitement. Not to mention that it's been announced that Henry Cavill is going to be playing in acting in the new live action Voltron that Netflix is doing.
Yeah, that was a source of some fun conversations up there. So who is Henry Cavill gonna play?
Yeah.
Is he gonna be the Galra Emperor? Is he gonna be some father figure? Some of us are going to just make him play Voltron himself. So when all the lions form up, they just form into Henry Cavill.
Awesome. I'll expect to see those rules in the rule book. And
how to make Voltron, how to make Henry Cavill Voltron.
Incredible. So I want to talk a little bit about, because like for me, so I've watched the series, the newer series. I haven't seen the older series of Voltron. And I know Dice Core. So like let's start there. Let's talk about Dice Core again for those that haven't heard about Dice Core before. Tell us about it.
Sure. So Dice Core is our proprietary role-playing system that is based on rolling pools of 3 dice. You always roll 3. And 1 die is just based on the complexity of what you're trying to do. So it's usually a D8 if it's a simple thing, a D6 if it's a more complex thing. Then you take a die from the skill that you're using. So if I'm trying to hit someone with a katana, I'll be my close combat skill. And then there's a linked attribute, and you take a die from that. And roll those 3 together, total them up, and try to either beat a difficulty rating or beat what the opposition rolled. Whenever you make a good choice or something that gives you a good advantage, you might get an upgrade on a die. And you can choose which die in your pool to upgrade. So you could turn a D8 to a D10, D10 to a D12, and so on. Or if things are going poorly, you might get a downgrade and go the other direction. But that way you don't have to worry about modifiers or a whole lot of other moving parts. It's just get your dice pool together, make sure you have the upgrades and downgrades applied, and roll.
Cool.
And it really moves quickly, but your choices still matter and can affect what happens and how well you do.
Yeah, I remember hearing you and Randall talk about it because it was designed by you and Randall, right?
Yeah.
And so like the statistical curve of all those upgrades and downgrades are constantly changing things.
Yeah, it all started with a spreadsheet. We were actually both kind of working, and all great stories start that way. It all started with a spreadsheet. But we were both working independently on kind of a variant of this system. And I wanted to see what the probability curve looked like if you did the 3 dice pools. And so I put it all together. And like at Gen Con one year, we started talking about it. I said, oh, let me show you the spreadsheet. And I showed them the probability curves. And we both agreed that they were a really good shape to them. They gave you the right amount of progression where each time you got an upgrade, it was a significant change in your percent chance to do it well. And so it was really good and we wanted to build it around there. One of my favorite parts of Gamehole to show that this is a good RPG crowd is someone I ran a Voltron demo for toward the end of it said, ooh, I really would like to see the probability curve for these dice pools. So I was like, I can help you with that. Let me get my pad.
I love that that's your favorite part of...
Yep, I got to show someone my cool spreadsheet. Isn't that awesome? I'm not a nerd. What are you talking about?
Oh, I love that so much. Aw. Neat. So then once you understand the Dice Core system and how easy it is, because I've got to play it with you with Frostpunk,
Right.
what I had difficulty kind of envisioning is like, okay, how do you skin this? Like, what is this going to look like for Voltron? So explain how this incorporates into the RPG.
So for most of it, it works out just fine because you have, the basics of combat, repairing things, talking. But obviously the special part is forming Voltron. That's where the real magic in a Voltron RPG is going to happen. So what you can do in Dice Core when you're unlocking a higher level of powers is you bring the D20 into it.
Ooh.
Because the D20 really accelerates the probability curve and gives you a lot better chances. So every time you form Voltron in the game, you earn a certain number of uses of a D20 where you can just freely substitute the D20 for either a D12 or a D10. So that can really make your attacks go bigger than when you were just being a paladin or just in your lion. There was one game I ran at the con where they were attacking a base that had launching tubes. And so they were like, we're just going to take down all the launching tubes with one big sweeping sword blow. And we're going to use our D20 to make sure we take down the whole base. And so they used the 20 and rolled well on it. It's just big destruction of all the launching tubes that you could not have done if you were just in your lion shooting the cannon.
Cool.
So it really amps up the power of Voltron so you get to feel how good it is.
I had a lot of fun doing the demo with you because I was able to get someone to who was playing Shiro to say, all right, team, form Voltron. And it was pretty great.
It is good when you get a good enough group and have them have catchphrase fun.
So I kind of just revealed a little bit of like you for the one book, because there's going to be 2 books available in the Kickstarter. So for
Right.
the newer book of the new, I always confuse the names. Which is the Netflix?
Legendary Defender is the newer one. Defender of the Universe is the older one. And I'm going to answer a question right now that I get all the time. We do not have the rights to Vehicle Voltron, so no Vehicle Voltron.
Oh, I thought we did.
No.
Oh.
No Vehicle Voltron.
So for the newer one, you are actually playing that group. So you're playing Shiro and Pidge and Keith
And for the older group too, you'll play the ones from that series. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Is there any option within the book to like create a new paladin or something like that to if you want to?
Yep. 100% yes. If you don't want to play the characters of the show and you want to make your own paladins and make your friends by your own names or whatever names you make up, then you absolutely can make yourselves new paladins.
Okay.
And have brand new Voltron adventures that way.
Cool. All right. And then the scenario you ran us through, just to get a little flavor of how this is used with Dice Core and with these characters. Can you kind of run us through an example scenario?
So the scenario that the QSR is based on, I don't want to give away too much. I'm not going to give away all the plot twists in it. But it starts on Balmera, which is this weird kind of cross between planet and giant rock-like creature that's the size of a planet. But it is a good source of power crystals. And in the Voltron universe, you get power crystals that are fueled by quintessence. And that is what powers Voltron, the lions, and also the castle, the big flying castle spaceship that you travel around in. So it starts with you looking for power crystals and trying to sense where are power crystals around here, and then just get a little bit of teamwork, because really one of the keys of the game is how well do the paladins work together. Whenever you decide to form Voltron, one of the major factors is going to be the GM evaluating, are you guys working together as a team? Are you helping each other out? Has there been a lot of infighting? So are you really ready to form this together? Because that's an important element of the show.
Yeah.
So you get that chance to search, dig up some power crystals, and then your sensors detect some Galra sentries coming in. The Galra Empire is the big bad of at least the early parts of the show. And so they're going to come in and you have to react. If you're separated, what are you going to do? If you're together, what are you going to do? And evaluate, take on the sentries, and then things go from there.
Cool. Now, what would you say are the biggest differences between the Defenders of the Universe and Legendary Defenders?
I mean, they're not huge differences. A lot of the characterization was modernized some when the Legendary Defender came along, and so that just means the tone also changes. Defender of the Universe just has your classic 80s cartoon feel, and Legendary Defender feels a little more contemporary.
Okay. All right, cool. Now, I know we've gotten a couple of questions in the chat already. I'm going to answer Q&A at the end, but what else do we plan to do with Dice Core in the future?
So, of course, Frostpunk and Voltron are the two big ones. We're still working on our non-licensed setting, the one we're developing from the ground up, which is Wizard Riders, which is dying Earth type setting. So way, way, way in the far future. So you can have anything you want, collapsed civilizations and magic and weird technology and aliens. And so kind of a barren landscape of Earth where roving gangs of magic wielding motorcyclists roam the continent and roam the planet, doing whatever we decide they need to do. So that's going to be a fun one to work on. I started just trying to get the feel of that text and write some of that. And I need to run it by Matt, the other lead in the RPG department, just to see if I'm capturing the feel he wants for that. And I think I can't. Oh, there's one more I can talk about. The other ones I can't because they're not publicly known yet. But the one I can talk about, pretty sure. And if I can't talk about it, oh, well, that's a problem, is Kung Fu Panda. So this is going to be a fun one. We're going to have a 24-page booklet that we'll release for Free RPG Day. And then we'll supplement that and expand it to a 48-page booklet that we'll release after that. That'll have additional adventures and everything. But it will use a simpler version of Dice Core that is better for kids and moves really fast, but still gives you some ability to choose, how you're going to hit someone or kick someone or what kung fu moves you're going to use.
Awesome.
So I'm excited to have that one. And I'm not saying it's good, but AC, when she played it, said it was better than Dungeons and Dragons. So that's clearly it's awesome.
I love AC so much.
She's fun.
Awesome. Cool. So, what about outside of Dice Core? Are there any other, like, I know we periodically get questions about what does the RPG division incorporate? Is it the Battletech RPG? Is it Leviathan's RPG? What does that look like outside of Dice Core?
It does not look like BattleTech RPG because that will be handled by the BattleTech people. They know the universe, they know their systems, and so I don't need to tromp in on their ground. If they want my help or anything, I'm happy to help them, but that is their baby, and I'm not going to take away anyone's baby. I haven't heard whether we're doing a Leviathan's RPG or not. Dice Core honestly would be perfect for Leviathan's RPG because the whole way of doing Dice Core with upgrades and downgrades is based on Leviathan's dice in the first place. And when we first started playtesting it, we were using Leviathan's dice as the dice for the system, so it would fit really well.
Cool. Awesome. All right. So anything else you want to say about Voltron or Dice Core or the RPG division before I move on to Q&A?
I'm just really excited for people to play it. It's always fun when people demo it because they see how quickly they grasp the rules and get into it and understand how much their choices matter and how they can make good decisions that will make things go better for them. And they're not, trying to flip back and forth on a character sheet going, okay, what do I do with this and how? But they know how to dive in and make things happen. And so I think it's a really flexible rule set, and I'm really excited to see it there because we dreamed of this a while ago. And I want lots of people playing it because it's cool, if I do say so myself.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to move over to Q&A. So if you have questions, I know Lorcan and Dave are in chat, so please at them with your questions so they can see it and transfer them to me. Ozzy Sturm asks, Jason, what has been the most amazing experience from a con? Like a gift from a fan, a superstar interest in a game, things like that.
Oh, that's a lot. It's tough to go back over all the cons, so I'm just going to focus on this last one. I love it when families come and play a game together and they're all clearly into it. So there was one game where I demoed Voltron, and it was the father and two daughters, and the daughters were the Voltron fans of the group. And so they were just having so much fun, and they were getting into their roles and quarreling as paladins and going back and forth and just having fun looking at all the weapons and powers they could wield. And sometimes when they're quarreling, the father, because you know how parents are when your kids are in public and they start arguing, like, now, kids, let's calm it down. I'm like, no, let it go. They're doing it great.
That's so cool.
Let them have fun.
Aww.
And so they were just so excited about everything and so excited that there was going to be a Voltron game that it was just so much fun to play with them and let them run with it. And then I did a shadowrun demo at the con for a couple whose daughter was younger. And it was great how they were helping her along and trying to make sure she had options. She was probably a little older than AC, but, just say, okay, you're a decker. So what could you look for in this bar that you could hack? And she's like, do they have a grenade? Yes, you can look for a grenade. And then when she gets her hacking roll, we're giving her, 14 dice. And she's like, this is hard to hold in my hand. And we're like, yeah, that's Shadowrun, all right.
That's so
Eventually,
great.
Everyone says at some point, these dice are hard to hold in my hand.
Yeah.
So I like to see that energy of people coming together. And just one more from Gamehole. It was nice when Keith Baker had to make a point to come over and shake my hand because I made a particularly stupid answer in the trivia contest. I like it when my stupid efforts are rewarded.
Awesome. I love that too. Cool. I had something cool happen this time too, where I got one of our viewers here at Tuesday Newsday. It played a ton of Shadowrun, played in the Battletech grinder that I joined into, came by the booth a ton, and it was great. Like the energy and enthusiasm was wonderful. And they offered me a choice between a 1990s poster of Shadowrun that came out at Gen Con, or a 1992 little zine of Shadowrun that was like announcing second edition and stuff like that from 1992. So I picked that one, and Jason got the poster. So that was super cool to
No, some cool stuff.
have a little piece of history. So I'm gonna have to put it up on my wall when I get everything organized. So that
Well,
was
that's
really
why I had
neat.
to only pick like from this past con, because if I go through all the cons, I could go like, people giving me T-shirts or their role playing groups that they made up, and so giving me one, so I felt like I was part of their group because they liked the game so much. Or Tom Dowd giving me a little circuit board pin that said Shadowrun on it. Or there's just so many cool people doing cool things in role playing that it's tough to pick one out of that whole history.
Yeah. So thank you. I think it was that you, Night Moss. I'm forgetting your YouTube name now. But if that was, thank you so much. That was a really cool moment. I just put the Voltron link in the chat. I'm gonna go find the Shadowrun Munchkin one too, but I'm gonna ask you a new question to stall for a little bit.
Okay.
I like the comment. So we're gonna see an Oops All Cavill version of Voltron for April 1st next year, right? I love that.
Why not?
Wargriz.
Just be confused at the table. Henry, do this. Henry, you do this. Henry.
Is Catalyst considering using Dice Core to make RPGs for IP they own that don't have rule sets? Perhaps ones with steampunk battleships like Leviathans.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're considering, that's not an announcement, but yes, we're considering Wizard Riders as one. And if we decide to do a Leviathans RPG, then I would make a strong argument to do it with Dice Core.
Awesome.
But I'm not making that argument yet, because first I want Leviathans fulfilled before any other Leviathans discussion happens. And then we'll discuss.
Yes, please. All right, there's the Munchkin link. All right, back to questions. Turbo Turtle asks, question, so are we going to see a Dice Core Fantasy, a Dice Core Sci-Fi, and a Dice Core Spy books?
I hope so. One of the proposals we have out there is for kind of a high fantasy setting, but I can't give any more details than that right now. And so it's some of it is a matter of what opportunities come up. Like I said, Wizard Riders is our own, so that would be more far future cross with fantasy. And then we'll just see what the schedule allows and whether I have to develop our own stuff or whether we get some cool licenses. There's a lot in the hopper right now, so I have to organize and see how it comes out. I know that sounds vague, but that's where sometimes licensing goes.
We are talking internally right now about PAX Unplugged and what to talk about there, because that is our big announcement event for what's coming in the next year. So maybe we'll be allowed to talk more about something, maybe we won't. But that'll be a great time to either tune into our YouTube channel to watch those streams or come visit us at our panels and stuff at PAX Unplugged.
And Lauren teased me with some really interesting possibilities of our last director's meeting. Not the one today, we're going a week before today. So I got to see how those shake out and when we can announce them or whatever. But there's some cool stuff.
I'm mad I wasn't there now.
Yeah, well, that's on you.
Yeah, that is. Stupid travel schedule. Big Red.
At least you were traveling to a place where I got to see you.
Big Red asked, do we know when the McCarran's Armored Cavalry Lance Pack comes out? It was originally slated for this month, Big Red. This is for Barnes & Noble anyway. But it hadn't arrived yet at PSI. But that was the news that I had as of 2 weeks ago before travel started. So I'll have to follow up and see where we are. Because if it's there, then we're probably looking at November. If not, we might be looking at December. So stay tuned. Turbo Turtle asks, any word on the Leviathans Kickstarter? I know Bryn just got back from Australia and Randall is still in Hawaii doing the world tour. So we should be, as soon as Randall gets back.
Can I quote Bryn on what he said at the director's meeting today?
What was that?
Can I quote Bryn on what he said about Leviathans at the director's meeting today?
I know that he's working with Tyler on a backer update, but that's, I think,
well, what he said specifically was if he died today, Leviathans would still get fulfilled because it's already out there and in process. So his part is done. We're just waiting for the schedule from all the producers about when it will ship, and then when we can get it out to
Yeah,
backers.
and then the
So-
conversation went on a tangent about how everyone would accept Bryn's death as long as they get Leviathans.
Yeah, we took that very respectfully, as we do.
Awesome. Cool. Will we be announcing the release dates for Merc's Kickstarter Force Packs at PAX Unplugged? We could be. It just, again, it depends on fulfillment, and if everything's finally leveling out and getting done, then we'll have things that are more locked in. That's a month and a week-ish away. So a lot can change in that time. So we just want to, like, we're not promising, because things can change, and we want to push to make sure that there's a good spread of releases without flooding the market. So stay tuned on that. But anything that we can say at that point for PAX Unplugged, we will. What else here? Night Boss, will CGL be upstairs again at next year's Gamehole Con? So we just filled Lauren in like 2 hours ago on how it all went. And there are conversations happening with Gamehole Con about where it's going to be next year and what that can do to pricing and different things like that. So I will personally be pushing for Gamehole Con next year because of Voltron and Frostpunk will actually be released as products by then. And with that and Shadowrun, I think that for RPG we should have a good presence, but unknown yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts in that discussion and lots of car horns behind me. But if I had my way, we absolutely would be up there again, and I'd rearrange the space, and we'd put more demo tables over where we had the shelves and more neon lights, and Club Catalyst time from 6 to 7 would be even more lit. That's what I'm going for.
Oh, I was with you.
And by the way, when I say the word lit, you know it's totally over.
Yeah. That I was with you until you said that, and it immediately was like, man, I love that a lot less now.
Yeah.
Awesome. What else do we have here? Turbo Turtle, the Black Widow Company Command Lance win. I'm going to assume this is a serious question because I don't know if there's like jokes I don't understand. I haven't seen it on the schedule because I know for most of next year, or at least the first half of next year, it's all going to be releasing Battletech Mercenaries product. So I haven't seen that on any schedule at this point. So I'm not sure personally where that is. Any other questions? Any other last minute questions we can get? I can let you know again from, I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, but hey, it's been a couple of weeks. Let me pull up my email that I sent out on our sell sheets, and this was also in the newsletter that went out, but I can at least communicate with you guys what our releases are for the rest of this month as planned at the moment. Let's go sent. And then we did our... Man, I've sent a lot of emails. Hold, please. Sell sheets and release info. There it is. All right, so by October 30th, we should be doing technical blueprints. This is on October 30th for release, and we might be releasing 2 days later. I can't remember. Technical blueprints, Force Manual Karita. Davian's already released. Field Commander's case. That's that big camo mini carrying case. Universe is out. Battlefield Support Deck Revised is end of the month. Mercenaries Paint Set is out. Overlords in Training is out. And McCarran's I just gave the update on. So right now we're looking at for November, Tarnished Star from Shadowrun. What's that one about?
Going to be a fun one. That's going to be the Security and Law Enforcement Handbook. So if you want to look at law enforcement from all angles in the Sixth World, both how they can be an adversary, and sometimes how they can be a source, and sometimes how you make a bargain with the devil you know to fight against the devil you don't. It covers it from all angles. It's got some really interesting stuff in it.
Awesome.
And good gear and stuff, because cops have some good gear sometimes.
The next thing we have then for releases was mercenary stuff that looks like it's probably going to be pushed. The only thing that wouldn't be pushed, Hotspots Hinterlands is on track for November 27th at this point. So, but that one I do have a note that it is not at the warehouse yet. So it's still on a ship. So again, if we get closer, it may have to get pushed. We'll see. So yeah, that's the stuff. Next question. Night Moss asked, did Helfers like the venue for Adepticon? We heard good things. It's big.
No, he was very positive about the venue, yeah.
Yeah, so Bryn actually went on his way back from Australia and saw it too. So a lot of ideas, a lot of we'll see what happens. But it's a much bigger space apparently. So
and it's Helfer, so a lot of his report once he started giving it was a lot about what restaurants are in the area. So he's really excited about that too.
Ozzy Sturm says, please come back to PAX Aus in years to come. Maybe bring Leviathans last year for demo. Great idea. I haven't gotten to hear the retrospective on Australia yet. So I'm hoping it went well. I'm sure we'll be getting a full rundown once Randall's back home. So
on his way there finally.
Unicorn Company Podcast logistics question. I noticed the CGL release schedule for Q1, 2, and 3 seem to follow fiscal year and not calendar year. Is this an accurate observation? Release schedule, I mean, it's calendar year for us, I think, is what we use, really.
Yeah, we generally build our release around the calendar year. We just have to build it around things like we don't want to release in December, and we have to avoid production delays around the Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
But as far as like accounting, I don't know if the accountants use a calendar year or fiscal year, but that's their problem. They don't bother us with those details.
Not our problem. I love it. Any final questions? We're done a little early here today, but I think our energy is partly responsible for that. So, and I'm like more tired watching you take a big long walk.
Yeah, we're definitely not taking naps after this meeting, that's for sure.
All right. Let's see. I think that's everything. So thank you guys so much for joining. Next year, I should have next week, I should have Kevin J. Anderson on to talk about his Kickstarter that's launching next week. For Dan Shamble, Catalyst is making a game for his Kickstarter, so that's pretty cool. Oh, last minute question. Any word on Star League Force Packs 3 and 4? Let me look at the schedule real quick with y'all. Hold, please. I want this one. All right, so let's see. Second Star League Assault Lance Force Pack is due for November. And that should not be affected by mercenaries, so that should be out regardless. Let's see.
Here's my cluttering. Look, I got a birthday card.
Aw, happy birthday, Jay. When's your birthday?
Saturday.
Oh, nice. Let's see, battlefield support. There's so many words on this, it's hard to find. This could change, but third Star League Battle Group Force Pack for May. And I don't have the fourth listed on here yet. My schedule only goes to July, but that could change. So yeah, that's currently what's slated. So, but thanks for, another one. Fellow food tourists. So when is Helfers on to talk about restaurants in the area so we can all be prepared for Adepticon? Yeah,
you should do that. Honestly, he would love that.
Yeah, maybe we can start building that out on our cons we're about to go to. Like, here's what's in the area.
Yeah.
That would be
Catalyst's
fun.
favorite eats in the con area.
Awesome. Not fiction. We'll talk about food.
He loves them both.
All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week. And again, I'll have Kevin J. Anderson on, but until then, we'll have a good week.
Thanks, everyone.